Hey guys, welcome back to my sixth video for Money May Scouts. Today we're going to be breaking down the film on the Colorado State grad student, Nique Clifford. Clifford, who is 23 years old from Colorado Springs, Colorado, was first team Mountain West defensive team and AP All-American honorable mention this year. Clifford led his team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals, averaging 19 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, a little over a steal, and a little less than a block a game, while shooting 50% from the field, 38% from 3, and 78% from the line. To start, let's dive into Clifford's strengths. Clifford is a very well-rounded player, scoring at all three levels while also being a talented defender. The first strength of Clifford's that I want to discuss is his mid-range game. On his first play, Clifford demonstrates great feel and a quick touch shot. Clifford does well at ripping left and then getting to a spot in the mid-range using a hop step before knocking down the fader. Here, Clifford gets downhill, uses a side dribble to create some space, and hits the fader in the left short corner. Clifford rips middle, gives a nice little bump with his shoulder to create some space, turns around, elevates, and hits the fader in the mid-range. This was a really impressive shot by Clifford. He drives left, and as soon as he feels his man try to cut him off, he spins middle, steps back, and elevates for the tough midi make. Even when Clifford does miss in the mid-range, they're usually very on line. Here he gets a clean look off this inbounds play, just misses slightly long while fading away. On this one, Clifford attacks Queen, tries to get to his step back, he just can't quite hit the jumper. Great look though. The next strength of Clifford's is his ability to score with his back to the basket. Clifford loves his turnaround jumper. Here he works his way down to the short corner, bumps, turns to his other shoulder, and hits the fader. This is great post work by Clifford. He spins over his right shoulder, fakes a spin back middle, and finishes right at the hoop. Here, Clifford effectively gets to his post up off the dribble. He draws his man out by faking the fader and then steps through to lay it in. Great play. On this one, Clifford cuts across the lane, receives the pass, turns over his left shoulder, and elevates over the defender to hit the fading touch shot. The next strength of Clifford's is his finishing. He's very skilled in that realm, making 65% of his shots at the rim this year. This was a great one-on-one bucket at the end of the half. He utilizes the slow step to create some space, keeps the ball high, and has nice touch on the finish. This was an incredible dunk by Clifford as he rips baseline and punches it as the Aggie defender comes across to contest. Here Clifford faces up, jabs, goes right, frees himself up on the spin, going straight into his shot and hitting the and one as he falls to the ground. At the end of this half, Clifford rips by Queen, splits the lane, and finishes the contested layup through some contact. Moving on to the defensive end, the next strength of Clifford's is his on-ball defense. Clifford starts with a solid off-ball denial. He then presses up into Martinez to evade the potential ball screen and caps the possession with a back tap that becomes a live ball turnover. Clifford does a great job of getting through both these ball screens quickly. He forces his man to lose his dribble a bit with the pressure. His man tries to get by him middle, but Clifford has good help from his teammate, leading to a jump ball. Clifford finds himself a bit behind after getting blown up by this ball screen, but he quickly recovers and blocks this three-point attempt. This was an excellent defensive possession by Clifford. He closes out well, fights through the on-ball screen quickly, is not affected by Miguel's bump, forcing him to shoot a very difficult floater, which he misses. Moving to off-ball defense, Clifford makes a great rotation over to reject this shot as the Utah State player tries to finish over his teammate. Clifford does an excellent job of fighting through the off-ball screens. He is with his man on the catch, sees the ball exposed, and swipes it away to create a turnover. Clifford plays his drive perfectly from the gap. He traces the ball well on the stunt and jars the ball loose to force the turnover. Clifford reads this play all the way through, not allowing any room between him and his man despite the screen. This leads to Haggerty going and chucking the three himself, which misses. Clifford is not a perfect defender though. Here and there he will be a bit late to close out or lose track of his man as you see with Clifford on this stunt. However, there was a much larger sample size of strong defensive plays by him this year. Clifford is talented at baiting players into picking off their passes. Here Clifford makes Dent think he's going to commit to the player on the wing and then intercepts the pass to the corner. Clifford stunts on the initial ball fake to seem as though he's committing and then perfectly reads the player's eyes to intercept the pass to the corner. Clifford starts in the paint and help, and as soon as he sees Haggerty switch to his right hand, Clifford knows he's passing. He starts running to the corner and jumps this pass perfectly. Clifford baits Queen well here. He makes him think he's staying with the screener, but is right in position to intercept the pass as Queen tries to hit Reese. Clifford is also a very strong defensive rebounder. He was in the 96th percentile of guards on the defensive glass this season. Here Clifford pulls down an athletic board, he traces it and soars across the lane to secure the rebound. This is a really solid board by Clifford. He's pushed out a bit but secures the aggressive rebound with his right hand. Clifford does well boxing out and then does a nice job of being aggressive to seek out the board before the other Boise State player. This is a great job by Clifford rebounding in the zone. He beats the Memphis big to the ball and simply wanted it more. Clifford's next strength is his ability to create for his teammates. This is great awareness by Clifford. He recognizes the big rotating over him as he goes into his shot and also sees Evans cutting on the baseline. He fakes the shot and dumps it down to Evans for the easy layup. Here, Clifford rips middle and displays great recognition to see Morton cutting backdoor. He delivers a nice pass, but unfortunately Morton gets blocked. This is a good decision by Clifford as he gets downhill, draws two guys, recognizes his big is open at the top of the key, swings it to him, and he knocks down the three. This is a great display of unselfishness on what was almost a game winner for the Rams. Clifford gets to his post-up, sees Queen ball watching on the opposite side, finds Lake open for three, and he hits a big shot. The next strength of Clifford's is his ability to create out of ball screens. Here the big shows on Clifford. He comes to 2 feet and makes an excellent pocket pass. Unfortunately, Bamba can't finish. Clifford comes off this ball screen. He stares down the roller, getting the defense to collapse. This allows Evans to be open on the wing. Clifford swings it to him, and he knocks down the three. Clifford uses this ball screen, locates Bamba on the roll quickly, and makes a strong delivery for the bucket. Clifford comes off the screen and goes into his shooting motion, drawing two Maryland defenders to him. Clifford then sees his big wide open in the paint and hits him in stride for the dunk. The last strength of Clifford's is his ability to create in transition. Here, Clifford makes a great hit-ahead pass to his teammate, leading him perfectly as he knocks down the three. On this one, Clifford gets a paint touch in transition and makes a great kick out to Lake, who hits the shot. Clifford has this ball poked out to him to spark the transition opportunity. He puts on the burners and wins the race to the rim for the layup. Here, Clifford makes a great dump-off pass to Bourne in transition for the easy layup. Clifford does a great job on the break of changing directions, then accelerating to the hoop to draw the foul, almost getting the and one. While Clifford is a very well-rounded player, he does have some areas of his game that he needs to sharpen as he transitions to the NBA. The first development area I want to discuss is with Clifford's three-point shooting. Clifford is a three-level scorer as he's a great finisher and mid-range scorer while also shooting 38% from three this year. However, for someone that shot the ball at that high of a percentage on a higher volume, it is puzzling to see how much variation there is as to how Clifford shoots his threes. Sometimes his base is narrow, sometimes his base is wider, sometimes he will elevate on his jumper, especially on a contest, and other times he barely gets off the floor when he shoots. Structurally, the only thing that is concerning me about his shot is that it could be flat, not always having a lot of arc on it. These are all aspects that we will look into in the ensuing clips. On a bunch of Clifford's threes this year, especially on catch and shoot opportunities from the corner, his base was very narrow. I believe this played into why he shot 35% on corner threes this season, including 30% from that left corner, while shooting 47% from the top of the key, where his base was typically wider and he was forced to elevate more. These next clips are all examples of Clifford's base being notably wider. It is not surprising that regardless of whether he made the shot or not, how much smoother and more comfortable his shot looks. His shot does not look very fluid when his base was as narrow as it was in the previous clips. These next clips are examples of Clifford having limited elevation on his threes. You will notice some of them do go in, but because his release can be a bit slower and his release point isn't as high, he's more susceptible to being blocked at the next level if he doesn't create an ample amount of space for his shot. These next clips are examples of Clifford elevating on his threes. Clifford hit 9 threes across the games that I watched on him. Most of them occurred on the threes in which he elevated more. I believe this is due to it being more similar of a shot as to how he shoots his middies, which is a very strong shot of his. This overall variation into how Clifford shoots his threes likely played into him being 0 for 9 from 3 this year in March Madness. In big games, you need consistency to fall back upon, which is why he was able to rely on his mid-range game, but not his threes. This honestly has less to do with variation in Clifford's shot, but I wanted to address that his shot could be flat at times. It will be difficult for him to be a consistent shooter from three at the next level if his shot has limited arc, which is why I wanted to slip in this point here. Clifford has to take care of the ball more. Here he needed to lead his teammate with this pass. Instead it's intercepted, he should have ball faked and swung it back same side. Clifford was looking to swing this up the court and thought his teammate was staying. Instead he keeps running, Clifford floats the pass and Martinez easily picks it off. This is a tough pass by Clifford out of the ball screen. He needed to throw the perfect pass to hit his big and threw it way too high, going out of bounds. Here, Clifford doesn't come to 2 feet on the drive before trying to kick it out and passes it right to the Maryland defender. The last development area to discuss is Clifford playing more in control. I like this initial take by him, but he seems to lose his balance and control as he gets further through traffic and the scoop layup is way off. On this one, Clifford stares down this pass to the corner and leaves his feet too. The New Mexico off-ball defender anticipates it easily and it gets deflected around out of bounds. He was lucky to maintain the possession. After splitting the Aggie defenders, I think Clifford could have tried a hop step or a euro between the big and help. Instead, he throws up a shot before landing and it misses short. This is a pretty difficult shot by Clifford as he shoots an off-balance jumper over two guys. He could have kicked it out or tried to step back. Moving on to the last segment of the video, let's look into how Nique Clifford's game will translate to the NBA. Honestly, the biggest aspect that affects Clifford's draft stock is his age. Despite having a very well-rounded game, teams do not want to take a 23-year-old inside the top 10. This is because they do not feel like they could draft a player to be a key piece at that age. While Clifford may not be that far away from entering his theoretical prime as a player in that mid to late 20s age range, he has one of the more polished games in this draft class. This makes him a very intriguing prospect in the 10s through 20s draft range, so let's take a look into what teams might be a good fit for him at the next level. The first team that makes sense is the Spurs at pick 14. It feels as though the Spurs are on the cusp of breaking through and being a contender sometime in the next few years. Clifford is a player that can be plugged into the rotation right away off the bench. He could play a role and be a player that when Castle or Vassell are off the court can come in and play meaningful minutes without the fear of there being a drop-off on either end of the court. The next team I think Clifford would be a strong fit for is in Orlando at pick 16. Standing at 6'6", 200, he could slide into that 2 or 3 spot and could compete to be a starter with his two-way, three-level versatility. Although he is 23, it is hard to deny the fact that Clifford can flat out score the ball. The Magic can benefit from more scoring threats outside of Paolo and Franz, and Clifford's ability to defend as well is the cherry on top. The last team I like taking Clifford is the Heat at pick 20. Miami has their fair share of wins with Jaquez, Jovic, and Wiggins, but with Jaquez regressing in year two, Jovic not being the strongest defender in the world, and Wiggins likely not being in Miami long term, it makes the idea of drafting another wing intriguing. Clifford could fit right into the Heat culture, making his presence felt on the defensive end and bringing an immediate scoring punch to put alongside Tyler Hero, and bam. It may not seem like the most exciting pick in the world, but with a team that seems to be in the middle of whether to rebuild or compete, drafting a player like Clifford with a higher floor and a more polished skill set may not be the worst thing in the world to provide some stability. And yeah, that's all I got on Nique Clifford. If you made it to this point, thank you for watching scouting video number 6. I look forward to working on my next scouting breakdown soon.